Hello, everyone, and welcome to this next episode of Truth Shots with Kapil. It's a real special episode for me. I have here with me Indrani Mukherjee, a very dear friend. And
Yes.
who doesn't know her? From being listed as one of the top 50 women to watch out for by Wall Street Journal in 2008 to today, when she's successfully running Indrani Mukerjea Enterprises, being a storyteller, being somebody who does her own shows, who produces them, who acts in them, and a variety of other things that we will talk about in a little bit. So, welcome here, Indrani.
Thank you, Kapil. I am so pleased that I'm here with you today. I look forward to our conversation.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to try and do a mix of personal conversation and, of course, the podcast show that we are hosting.
Yes, absolutely. I already feel very flattered. You've said a lot of nice things. But, I am just going to sniff the flattery, not swallow it. so, yeah, let's go ahead.
Yep. So let me just start from the journey. So you've been on the cover page of business magazines as a media entrepreneur. And now you are doing your stage shows as a theater performer as well, of course, producing them as well. Looking back, what was the fire that first drove you into the world of business and media?
Actually, very early exposure to media. I've been exposed to media from a very young age, and that early exposure has obviously, created the fire within me, the drive within me to kind of, I would say, realize, my ideas, the stories that I have heard, and people into narratives, which I felt with this thing of media, platform of media would, outlast me much longer. And I think a creative space is somewhere where you can, convert perception almost to reality. And then that is what also influences, society, I would say.
Sure.
So it was definitely, I found it very interesting. And the media platform was almost, I would say, a canvas to put forward my ideas and the stories and the people, and to connect the dots across different cultures and conversations.
Great. So, I mean, you were called a media baron, co-founding INX Media and listed in Wall Street Journal as top 50 women to watch out for. How did it feel back then, in 2008 when you received it, and how do you view it now?
Actually, in 2008, obviously, I was extremely delighted when I heard the news. And I was very young as well. I was at the peak of my career, and it felt like a, global validation. Honestly, not it felt, it was a global validation. And it obviously opened a lot of doors. And it felt very good at that point in time, because I felt that years of risk taking and hard work was being appreciated, at a global level and platform. So, which was obviously kind of, I would say, any youngsters, I would call myself young at that age because I was barely 35, 36. And at a very young age, to get that kind of recognition is, I think, quite a milestone by itself. At that point in time, obviously, I was looked upon as someone who could inspire, a lot of lives, and that inspire people, and that anybody could really achieve it, if you have the will to pursue your dreams. So that really made me, I would say, almost feel not just that I have achieved a global accolade or, recognition, but I would say, almost to an extent, very flattered. Yeah, but today I think I look at it very differently. It is no longer for me a badge of honor. I realize that on hindsight, that it was actually a recognition, I think, of responsibility.
Right.
So I think it is more of mature thinking now. And I am actually, I hold that recognition very closely to my heart even today. But now, as I have kind of evolved, I would say, so it is no longer, these kind of recognitions, I would say, is no longer. I feel obviously very delighted and very awarded every time I am recognized, with something like this. But I feel these are, more of, these are not really, these are more of markers rather than milestones for me.
Sure.
So I think that is essentially the difference. But yes, I think, but it is very fulfilling and very soul filling when your efforts and your hard work is recognized.
Absolutely. And,
Yeah.
being in the top 50 women to watch out for
In the world.
in the world. I mean, of course, that gotta feel really special,
Yes.
and at such a young age.
Yeah.
So from corporate boardrooms back then to dramatic performances, how did you come to storytelling as, as the medium to bring the truth out, or to talk about yourself, or to portray the various shows that you are doing?
Yeah. So, if I go back to my time in media with INX Media, that time also it was a lot of storytelling, no doubt, because obviously there were TV shows and there were, so I obviously had that medium. But having the corporate responsibility as a CEO of a company, which was a green venture, also came with a lot of responsibility, right? So whilst, I really enjoyed that bit of the creative side, but it came with a lot of additional responsibilities. So, which essentially didn't, I would say, give the kind of fulfillment probably that at that point I didn't realize it. And also when you're in the corporate boardrooms, you are constantly kind of wearing a mask.
Right.
And any corporate initiative is all about more about numbers, or because earlier prior to that, I was also in HR. So it is all about numbers and market shares, and it's very clinical, let me put it that way. But today what I realized that when I have kind of thrown myself into theater and performance, I think it is all about raw emotions and about presence. So it has got a fulfillment in a very different ways, because here I am not just being able to kind of tell stories in a way that is almost, it looks real, but being on stage is really real. There are no takes and retakes there.
Right.
It is that one go where you're expressing your emotions. And I was also not kind of directly connected to the audience in my previous kind of journey of media. But here, whereas I feel that, when I'm performing on stage with the audience and when I am expressing my emotions through my storytelling. So those are essentially my themes, the kind of themes I resonate, which I'll talk to you more about it. So the connection with the audience, I think, is a very shared experience in that 1.5 hours of performance. So which is a completely, I would say, different level of experience, which is again very, very fulfilling. It is very inwardly rewarding. I would say that, yeah.
Right. So, I mean, talking about that only, Chitrangada, Ek Sashakt Nari. I watched the show, the premiere of the show in Mumbai a couple of months back. How did you choose that role? I mean, because that was a good combination of mythology and personal emotions put together.
Yes.
One, how did you choose that role? And second, what did it reveal about your own inner journey?
So, Chitrangada Ek Sashakt Nari was basically taken from the works of, though it is mythologically, it comes from Mahabharata,
Mm-hmm.
because it's the story of the Manipuri warrior princess, right, who kind of finally falls in love with Arjun while he
Yep.
was in Vanvas, and then, eventually they get married, but then she stays back in her kingdom to rule the kingdom,
Right.
because she's the sole heir to the king of Manipur. So my reason for choosing Chitrangada Sashak Nari to kind of produce it, at a mega scale, and to really put it out to the audience and reach it as much as possible, there were two reasons. For me, it was also, I would say, to a large degree, personal catharsis, though it is not my story per se. But I felt that, the story of Chitrangada brought out, the warrior in the woman, brought out a lot of femininity, also responsibility. And I feel that, apart from, I would say, the courage,
Right.
the courage factor is very important, to say no when it mattered. That is, so, I resonate a lot with that character. So, and I felt that because obviously I have been, learning dance for a while, both Western classical as well as Indian classical. So I thought that it was a good opportunity, after I started Indrani Mukherjee Enterprise, that Chitrangada Sashak Nari would be the right story to go out and speak in person, which is what I did. I enacted, I danced, I did all the lifts and flips
Which were
possible.
wonderful. I mean,
Thank you.
Like I told you after the show.
Yes, thank you so much. And so I think I was able to play the role very well, because I think Chitrangada, or I would say, I personally have all the traits and the characteristics of Chitrangada, as embodied or as portrayed by Rabindranath Tagore. So I think that worked out really well. And I found that though the rehearsals were very long rehearsals, very physically exhausting, even mentally draining, but it was just as though I was just playing, my own journey. It felt that way on stage and during the rehearsals. I forgot I was Indrani Mukherjee by then. I became Chitrangada. So that's the reason I chose Chitrangada.
Great. And I've always looked at you as this epitome of resilience in how you have lived your life, in all you have that you have gone through, and how you are now.
Thank you.
And you have always talked about refusing to ever be a victim, and really talking about emergence versus an escape.
Yes.
So what does that distinction mean for you personally?
See, I would say escape is about hiding. Escape is about running away. Escape is also about remaining anonymous.
Sure.
Right? So I don't think I have any of those qualities in me, any of that at all. Also, I would say escaping is not having the courage to embrace the truth. So whereas emergence, I would feel, which is very much my personality, is being able to not just accept, but also come out with your truth, no matter how messy it is.
Right.
I think it takes a lot of courage. And these are some of these, I would say, is inbuilt in me. But I think some of them I have also cultivated over a period of time. I have pushed myself to be able to come out and put myself in the forefront, because I feel that if you're true to yourself, And I think you are going to be able to emerge and evolve no matter how difficult your circumstances are. और हमारे जो एक हिंदी में भी कहावत है, कीचड़ में ही कमल खिलते हैं. So that is also sometimes, no matter how much of darkness you're in, if you have the will to emerge and evolve, you can do it. And that's just me, it is so me. So I would never, adopt the route of escapism. I would always be emerging. And I would say that to everyone, that no matter how difficult it is, no matter what your circumstances are, the only way to, I think, live a better today and an even better tomorrow is keep evolving and emerging every single minute of your life. I think that's the only journey of life. That's what we are meant to be doing as human beings.
So this emerge and evolve, so this, call it reinvention, I guess will always come with burning some old bridges to reinvent yourself to the new ones. So what part of your life did you have to leave behind as you looked at this reinvention for yourself?
This is a very, I think, interesting question. But I think a lot of what that I left behind is the need of validation from external sources. So now I look at, like I said, there was a point in time when you're very young and you need flattery all the time. Thankfully, I'm not a politician. So,
Sure.
So I would have been perhaps obsessed with flattery. So over a period of time, of course, as you grow older, you learn to also sniff flattery rather than swallow it. Yeah, so that is, I have, I think, left behind the need for external validation, the need to also edit myself to other people's expectations, the need to be also fitting a particular kind of role,
mold.
Yeah, a mold, or also putting myself in a different role that I am not really comfortable with.
Sure.
So I think that is one part that I have definitely left behind. So when I have left that behind in the past, what has really helped me is to it has allowed me, and also those, I would say certain, like you talk about burning bridges, I have really at least, not I would say made efforts, but I have taken a conscious decision not to burn bridges.
Sure.
Let me put it that way. But certain experiences, I think, have allowed me to fuel my creative juices even more. And so for me now, creativity or emergence, I would say, has become more of an inward journey. So internally, if you're kind of very grounded or rooted, I think, your outward efforts are very minimal. You don't even need to make efforts to be yourself, because you're out there. You're not enacting. You're not someone else. You're just yourself. And a lot of those experiences, some of them very heart-wrenching, I would say, some of them very difficult, I would say, have allowed me actually, those phases of my life, I have converted, I would say, to art, and more positive and more kind of thought-provoking, scenes, characters. I have actually embodied those experiences into what I'm doing currently.
So was there one specific moment that you can think of, in the journey, when you said, you know what, my story need to be told on my own terms, at least need to be set right in what I went through, or, what really happened?
So, it was not just one big, moment, to be very honest. And for me, it has been more of, I would say, a very selected choices that I have made. In terms of, for example, when I took to dancing, I didn't realize that I was going to be good at it. I first initially took it up more as a hobby and more as a healing experience.
Mhm.
That, but I realized that okay, this is one medium perhaps I could use to tell my story or to kind of bring out my emotions.
Mhm.
My raw emotions out there. That
Mhm.
was one. Then, of course, I picked up the pen to write, my story, and which initially I journaled it more
Mhm.
as a catharsis.
Mhm.
But then, I was very blessed, and I would say the universe was somewhere probably, guiding me, helping me, and I had clearly, some big guy blessing me up there. And then I obviously, HarperCollins approached me and my book was out.
Right.
And it became, as you know, it was a bestseller. And I was very, very pleased that I could tell my side of the story. So that was, and then again, I had the courage also to go out and talk to the world, talk about my experiences, talk about my feelings, most
Mhm.
importantly. That was important even through an audiovisual medium or even like today when I'm talking to you. So I was never really shy about coming out and, putting, I wouldn't say my side of the story, putting out the real story,
The
the
real story,
truth,
yeah.
which is, and there is only one truth, Kapil.
Mhm.
There are not varieties of truth. And for me, whichever medium I took up to, whether it was with interviews with news channels, whether it was a documentary, whether it
Mhm.
was my book, whether it was various
Mhm.
podcasts, for me it was very effortless, I would say, only because I didn't have to remember anything, because for me, the truth, I believe, is the easiest way to, communicate your emotions, because every time when you speak, you're giving that story, which is the truth.
Which is the truth, right? So you don't have to think about what
You
did I
don't
say
have to
last
think about
time.
कि मैं
What's
क्या बोला and what
right?
I'm going to say next.
Absolutely,
What did I'm
absolutely.
sorry, my Hindi is really atrocious. So please pardon my gender, use of bola boli and all that. But yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, in all the work that I do around mental health,
May I?
I keep talking about resilience.
Mm.
And one of the aspects that I have always been telling people
Mm.
is I am nobody to take circumstances in your life. I mean,
Mm.
the stress in your life is the stress in your life.
Right.
I can't change your personal life. I can't change your relationships. I suddenly can't make your husband or wife do better than what they do right now,
Yeah.
or your boss do things any different.
Yeah.
All that I can do is one, give you coping mechanism for you to deal with whatever life throws at you.
Right.
And second, give you the capability such that you can indulge in things that will be, deeply personal and deeply relaxing, or deeply, kind of remove or reduce your stress.
Right.
In a lot of ways, dance and theater is
Yeah.
deeply spiritual.
Yes.
Right. So, can you talk about from a resilience perspective,
Right.
where does this fit in?
So for me, I realized actually when I started taking dance lessons in 2022, that's when I started dance lessons, and I started with Western classical. And I always actually, from the time I was a child, I wanted to be a dancer. But, for the reasons that I think, a lot of people are accustomed to, you're always pushed, particularly if you're bright in, your
Mhm.
academic, life, you are pushed more towards business and corporate and, that life. So, which is what exactly happened to me. And also at that point in time, I think, at least from the background I came from, it was almost believed taking up dancing as a career option was for lesser mortals, which I mean, initially, now in 2022, when I suddenly said, okay, so everybody, my close friends, including, I would say even relatives, I would say, their reaction when I said that, okay, I think I'm going to start performing. Why? But why? You don't need to do this. You kind of headed organizations. Why do you want to become a dancer? Why? It was almost like I was reduced to being a lesser mortal. But I said, that really dancing makes me happy. As the phrase goes, dance with joy.
Sure.
There is that saying. So for me, when I started dancing, I felt really, really happy every time I danced. And then when I got into theatre, when I decided to do first Phoenix just, Phoenix, Sun-Kissed Phoenix, just fell on my lap because my very dear friends, Rahul Singh and Nilofer Bilimoria, they have this Khushwant Singh Literature Festival in Kasauli every year. And because of my book, obviously, they had called me there to speak. And then, this one, Nilofer just said that, Indrani, why don't you do a performance? And their theme was resilience and renewal. So it perfectly fitted, my life. And so then I said, okay, we'll give you a short play, Sun-Kissed Phoenix, musical dance drama. That was, of course, Western classical dance drama. And I realized that, and it was a very controlled crowd. It was about 400 people, but everybody, it was a captive audience. They were all my friends. I knew all of them. It was in Kasauli. But I was very comfortable on stage. I said, wow, I can make this into my career. So your question about healing, I'll just answer that now. So for me, every rehearsal now is almost like a ritual. It is like an offering, offering to, I would say, a very positive, energetic force, where I feel not just very, very calm and peaceful. I see that energy, kind of bubbling around, and it's almost like a bubble. We are in that energy bubble with the other dancers around, because a lot of these dancers have been dancing from the age of 3-4 years. They were 3-4 years. So when you're actually even rehearsing with this group, we are almost, when you say you have this out of world experience, there are times you have this almost out of world experience.
Sure.
And I will tell you about an experience that I had when I did my first show of Chitrangada, which I have never shared with you, actually. And I don't know why I didn't share with you, considering I share most of my secrets with you. So when I was actually, performing in one of the scenes, where, if you remember, when this Kurupa turns into Shurupa, into that beautiful, this thing. And I was kind of standing there with my kind of back to the audience, and I was turning around where Surupa comes out. I almost felt, see, I'm getting goosebumps when I'm telling you that I could see myself enacting there. I could see myself. So I think for those few seconds, I felt I was
an out-of-world
watching myself from the top. So that is the spiritual experience, the kind of healing experience that I have had with, dance and theatre. So I feel very, very blissful when I don't have a rehearsal. If a rehearsal is cancelled, my heart sinks. And now you know how much theatre and dance has helped. If you remember, in one of my previous trips, with your app itself, you had done a stress test. I think almost a year ago in the same office. And I think my stress levels were 7.
Yes.
And today, when you did
5, less than 5
stress levels, it was 4.9, and yours was 7.
Yes.
So you need to get into theatre and dancing, Kapil.
I have 2 right feet.
Yeah. Well, That's very good. Not two left feet. It's the two left feet which is bad.
Yeah,
So
that's why I said I have two right feet. I
good.
still won't be able to dance. with
Okay, so
that.
you're that bad. I for a minute thought that you're very
Oh no!
eager.
Oh no! No no!
Okay.
I am eager. I would love to, but it's just never. And I've tried. It's not even that I haven't.
Yeah.
I may even have some funny dance videos of me,
No,
which
I'm
I
so
usually don't
ashamed.
put out anywhere. My trainer has put out a few of them out.
Oh, okay. Nice. I must watch
I try
them.
not to get tagged in them. So, truth. I mean, specifically, I mean, with
Yeah.
somebody like you, what does truth mean for you? Is it raw honesty? Is it inner clarity, or is it something else?
I think for me, truth is not necessarily just raw honesty. Okay. Sometimes, raw honesty can be very, very hurtful
Mhm.
and painful to other people.
Sure.
It may be extremely, or I would say, it may lighten the burden of your heart. But I am not totally convinced that raw honesty at all times is unburdening for your soul. I'm talking about raw honesty. So I would just define truth rather as honesty which should be laced with empathy.
Sure.
So I think that is very, very crucial.
Mhm.
You must see, truth is synonymous with honesty. But there is a difference in between raw honesty and honesty.
Sure.
So you can be empathetically honest and you can be brutally honest.
Sure.
So the path I would choose would be to be empathetically honest. That is how I would say, like to define truth, being empathetically honest.
Okay. Great. So let's talk about your book. It became a bestseller. It won a literary award, but then you don't necessarily were looking at it as an author, right? You were sharing
Right.
your story. So can you
Yes.
talk a little bit about that experience of writing?
Actually, I didn't really know I could write. Okay, I mean, because having been in the media industry also for a very, very long time, and having 1,900 people, almost 1,900 people working in your team as colleagues, and having a big, I would say, a PR setup at that point. I barely really wrote anything myself,
Sure.
So if it was almost when most of my talks were, actually all my talks were very extempo, always. And if there was anything that really I needed to give her, like a 15-minute speech, someone in my PR team would just, write it down. And then maybe on the way to the airport or in an aircraft, if I even had the time to go through the bullet points, I would be very blessed, because it was such a busy life that I led. So the question of really, writing never really arose, like putting out my creative, even your own inner feelings, in terms of which is when I'm talking about my work life at that point. Yeah. And being I always thought of myself essentially as a very numbers driven person. I was very good in maths. So, and having been, the head of big organizations, for me, it was all about numbers all
Sure.
the time. So somewhere, even though I had, a creative side and a latent creative side in me, it was obviously deeply buried. And writing is also very, very creative, you
Yep.
see. So when I started journaling my own journey, every day I would write, I started writing things, whatever I could remember from the time I was almost born. You don't remember when you're born, but
Right.
whatever you hear from your elders, or from the time I could remember, which was almost from the age of 3, I could
Yeah.
remember certain incidents, and carried till almost 2022. the experiences of my life as I started writing, honestly, it felt as though it gave me the pen, honestly, when they say sometimes the pen is mightier than the sword, it's really true, because it gave me, without realizing, the opportunity to deal with a lot of inner conflicts that were inside
Sure.
me, that were probably buried deep somewhere in the recess, of my subconscious,
Mm-hmm.
which also at times I think kind of evoked reactions from me,
Mm-hmm.
in my earlier phases of my life, which were not necessarily as kind of mature or contained as they should have been.
Mm-hmm.
And there were certain things in my life prior to writing it, I perhaps did not have the courage even to face it myself,
Right.
leave alone go out and talk to the world about those experiences. Writing gave me the courage
Mm-hmm.
to put out the truth, with, like I had mentioned, with very, empathetic honesty. So that was a very unburdening for me.
Sure.
I felt very, very light after I could do that. And initially, I was very nervous when, I was having discussions with the publishing house, because it was supposed to be my private space. But then, once the book was out, it obviously made me nervous, because I was bearing my soul and my story to
To everybody.
everyone. But it was also very unburdening for me, because now I realize that, the world has to accept me, and which is where today I feel, I would say, much more myself, or
Mm-hmm.
why my stress levels are even below normal today,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm just myself. I don't
Yep.
need to wear a mask anymore. I don't need to be any. I am just the Indrani that you see, and like, again, first the book, and then the documentary, and now theater is allowing me to put out my unfiltered emotions and my unfiltered presence out to everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I sleep very well
Yep.
now. That's
Yep.
very, very good.
And I think I have said this in the recent past, that you look much more relaxed than what you were a year and a half back.
Thank you. Thank
Going
you.
through this journey of dance and performances and everything.
Yeah.
I think every time I see you, being part of your performances or being part of your rehearsals, and every time we have a conversation about that, I mean, your face just lights up. So
So
that.
I am now becoming Benjamin Button. So
Well, so over the last some time, you have
Yeah.
been honored with awards for resilience, for women empowerment. What do these recognitions at this stage of your life? What do these recognitions mean to you?
No, I think, these recognitions are obviously, I would say, like I had said earlier, these, recognitions are markers. They are not milestones for
Mhm.
me. But at the same time, I think these recognitions also give me the impetus, I would say, or the, drive
Mhm.
to continue in my journey, that I know that I am in the right path, and I am being able to kind of, be a source of inspiration, I would say, to a lot of people, that no matter, even if you're engulfed with darkness, you should be able to, instead of kind of just being in a state of denial, you can carry your dark, even that dark space, that you have been thrown into,
Mhm.
into a very positive, and I would say a light space, a space of light, encouragement, and a very, very uh, clear space, clear space where there is clarity of mind,
Mhm.
there is innovation, there is creativity, and there is, most importantly, happiness.
Mhm.
That you say that my happy place, my happy space. So it takes, I think it is through the medium of art, which theater and dance is art. I have been able to convert my creativity, my ideas into art, and art simultaneously, I would say, has been able to do the same for me. you know Art has been able to bring forward that light and that feeling of happiness in me.
Mhm.
So it is very, I would say, mutually kind of conducive, mutually kind of helpful, both art and me. I
Mhm.
think almost, we are both in a very happy space, art in me and me in art.
Sure. Sure. So, when you look at your life now,
Yeah.
do you look at it, going forward? Do you look at it as redemption or as creation of something entirely new, devoid of the past?
See, I would say redemption is very external. Redemption is other people's expectations,
Sure.
right?
Mhm.
Whereas I would say I am, more into that space of re-emerging, emerging and reinventing.
Sure.
Okay. So when you are talking about, I just mentioned about, I do not believe in living in the past. Yet I believe, any scars from your past, it is very important to, face your scars, to heal your scars, in your journey, which is, you can do it through art, meditation, through also self realization and empathy. But you need to, I think, as an individual, be able to, evolve and move forward in a both internal journey, which is
Mhm.
very, very important, because until and unless there is internal clarity, you cannot kind of provide a roadmap even to yourself, leave alone someone
Sure.
else. Yeah. So I think I have kind of been able to create that internal clarity within me, obviously, through spirituality, through art, and a lot of kind of time spent in solitude, which really helps, which I do even today. I try and spend as much as time as possible. I try and take out, an hour every day to spend. That's like when we talk about me time. For me, that me time does not essentially mean going and doing my nails. That
Sure.
me time does not mean just going out and having fun. My that me time means genuinely me time, where I sit, I may be just staring out of the window, but
Sure.
it's just I almost allow my mind to go blank and let all thoughts pass through. So
Sure.
I'm not even in a meditative space, but I'm in that mind space where I allow thoughts to kind of flow through and percolate to whatever degree
Mhm.
it is required. So that
Mhm.
provides inner clarity. And so I feel that, your past scars or your past
Mhm.
experiences, good or bad, you need to be able to, you must not, let us say, forget your past,
Sure.
but you must allow that also in a very constructive
Right.
way shape your present and your future. And which is why I think when a lot of people, like you've also said that, how has she bounced back so quickly? This term that a lot of people use, bounced back, and she's kind of recreating her empire or doing things which are, I think it is just that I have not denied my past. I have put my past out in the forefront.
Sure.
I've spoken about it again and again and again.
Yep.
Now everyone tells me, please don't talk about your past
Yep,
anymore.
yep.
Because there are more interesting things that I'm doing in the present and the future.
Yep.
So that is evolution. And I think that is the space, I believe, that it should never be redemption. I think it should be emergence.
Perfect. And let's talk about the new things that you are doing. Of course, you have a show coming up, Chitrangada, Ek Sashakt Nari. Then you are doing one more show, Naika Bhumika.
Yes.
And there is, I'm sure, there is a lot more in store when it comes to Indrani Mukherjee Enterprises. So can you tell us a little bit more about what your plans, your vision? I mean, currently you are, yourself performing in many of these. But I mean, as you and I have discussed, it's a platform where you want to promote a lot of new art and new artists. So can you talk a little bit more about what you are doing with that?
Yes. So for me, entrepreneurship is not just commerce. Okay. I think it is much more about creating ecosystems, creating jobs, giving opportunities.
Sure.
And in the process, when you are talking about opportunities, when you create opportunities for others, you create opportunities for yourself.
Of course.
I very firmly believe in that. So, Indrani Mukherjee Enterprise is, at the moment, it is just one company, but I think eventually it will become an umbrella company for several different projects. So at the moment, the things that I'm doing is I'm very deeply involved in both theatre and dance. So because that is something which is that's my passion.
That's your personal passion.
And I believe that if I start with something, which I'm so deeply passionate about, this is not just numbers for me. Earlier, whatever I did in INX Media was more of number crunching, but this is my passion. So for me, at this point in time, work is play and play is work. So, and I know that if I'm in that happy space, people around me are going to be happy. And which is what I am seeing with my colleagues, my co-workers. And the aim of Indrani Mukherjee Enterprise initially at this point in time is obviously to venture into a lot of arts and culture, projects related to art and culture, at this point being dance and theatre. It could, open up to many more other fields of art and culture. And we have also done our first, I would say, contract, a talent on contract. And I really want to promote new talent, because what I have realized in life, as even, sitting in the boardrooms, very male-dominated boardrooms as well, where I have successfully kind of, overcome all the struggles and hassles. But I was one of those lucky people where I would say I was at the right time, at the right place.
Sure.
But having lived in Bombay, I have for several years, for over 25 years now, I have realized that there is so much of talent out there. But, I don't think a lot of this talent get the kind of opportunities they deserve. And I'm not calling it young talent, I'm calling it new talent, because I do believe that there is no age for talent.
Yep.
So for me, new talent does not necessarily mean a 18-year-old always. Yes, if there's a very good 18-year-old talent, I would promote, I would, be a mentor. But I'm looking at people who have really cherished that passion and dreams and have the fire in the belly to actually prove themselves that, yes, I can do it. The drive is more important for me than the actual ability, because the ability will see its complete culmination when you have that passion. So actually, very recently, my guru, Deepak Mazumdar, who's my dance guru, because I spoke to him about it, that I am looking for, because Chitrangada, I am obviously a new face for Chitrangada. I said, I need a new face, new talent, for Chitrangada, but I need someone who has the same kind of passion
The
and
same energy, the same passion,
energy,
right.
and the same passion. And then he recommended this gentleman by the name of Subrat Panda. And then obviously, because we were auditioning a lot of people, we auditioned several actually Bollywood actors, television actors, very well-known dancers, and my directors, Madhumita and Tony Chakravarti, put all of them through rigorous auditions. But the moment Subrat walked in through that door, Madhumita, even before we did this audition, my director Madhumita looked at me, and I could just tell that it was that energy.
Right.
And then when he actually did that audition, and later I'll show you the audition.
Sure.
It was an unspoken agreement between my directors, the choreographers, and me that this is the guy. And so we took him, Indrani Mukherjee Enterprise took him as our first talent on contract. So we have signed him up now, for a few years. And so he is going to be doing, all our shows. And if we move even in the OTT platform, because I do feel that he can be a talented actor.
Sure. Okay.
And he's very well read on Rabindranath Tagore. And so I was very, very impressed, very focused. So that's the kind of talent I am. He's all of 39. But, of course, he has all the looks and everything that's required to be Arjun on stage. Right. But I think he's a good talent we have signed up. So coming to other projects, we are also doing this. So first, let me talk about Chitrangada. So Chitrangada Ek Sashakt Nari is going to be, we will be performing and showcasing that on the 25th of October in St. Andrews in Mumbai, and then 30th of November in Rang Sharda, also in Mumbai. And then as of now, we plan the same on the 7th of February and 8th of February in Sophia in Bombay. Now, Naika Bhumika is yet another very interesting and very different play, I would say, which comprises of, it could be even 6 stories. I've shortlisted 6 stories. But now we are going to showcase only 4 stories of Rabindranath Tagore. And they are obviously very driven by women empowerment, because Rabindranath Tagore is one of the most forward-thinking personalities or gurus or legends we can talk about, who really believed in women empowerment, where at that time even sati existed and, all the no-nos for women existed. He was one of the patrons, I would say, and, one of the game changers for women. So these are going to be 4 short stories, which we are enacting in about 1 hour, 15 minutes, again, dance dramas. And we have got a very interesting kind of cast. So we have got Manini De, who's also a very well-known actor, very good orator. So she's going to be a part of the play this time, as opposed to for my Chitrangada, she's our host.
Was the host, yes.
Yeah, and which she continues to be the host. She's a lovely, lovely person. And again, a very, very talented, she's a lawyer, she's obviously a very good actor and very fantastic speaker. So very, very a woman in her own right, and very, very a voice for other people.
Mhm.
So we have her, we have Subrat, we have Madhumita Chakravarti also, who's acting in the play. She's again a very well-respected choreographer, a dancer.
Mhm.
So I'm really excited about this new project. So we are launching it on the 9th of January. So this
Okay.
is a 2026 launch, and the invitation is already there for you, Kapil.
Yep.
You have to be a
I will certainly be there.
part of, and thank you so much, because your company is also a patron of our shows. So I'm very, very, my gratitude, not just mine, from our entire team
Thank you.
for the
Thank you so
same.
much for that.
And over and above that, which I obviously I'm not going to reveal much, but I am, since we are talking about more of ours, so I think we are also venturing into the OTT platform,
Mhm.
a web series.
Mhm.
I shall talk about it more, as we get closer to the event. I'm ready to announce.
Mhm.
And on the personal front, I am also authoring a couple of books.
Mhm. Yep.
So, which at the right time.
We discussed about that, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
not something to be discussed on
Discussed
camera at
as
this
of
point.
now,
Yeah.
and just to clarify, it is definitely not Unbroken 2, and it is not about myself.
Yep.
I have told my story to the world, and now, from now on, it is just, people to watch me in action,
Yep.
rather than words or a book.
Mhm.
I've given my story, so
Mhm.
now let people watch my story as I evolve and emerge.
Mhm. Yep. So, how do you want, from what you have done over the last few years? You have done, a book. You've been, part of a documentary on Netflix, which was your story.
Yes.
You are doing these shows. What do you want people to take away from them? Your books, your plays, your presence.
I would say, initially, I would say ownership. So when I am talking about ownership, what I mean is that the way I have been able to come out and own my story, own my narrative, I think everyone, no matter how difficult it is, should be able to come out and own their story.
Sure.
Okay, and be able to voice it. Secondly, first is ownership. The second part is courage.
Mhm.
I think everyone needs to have the courage to have a voice. I think that is very important.
Mhm.
And I would say that we need to not just tell our story, we need to inspire others
Mhm.
to be a voice for themselves, as well as be a voice for others.
Yeah.
That is very, very crucial. And the third and the most important thing is to be able to deal with whatever struggles and conflicts of your past and
Mhm.
present, by kind of converting those conflicts and struggles into more creative spaces
Mhm.
or more positive spaces.
Mhm.
So I think the moment you can do that, I think you're in a very, very good space in life. And the other thing, actually, whilst you were talking about Indrani Mukherjee Enterprise, we also are very, very involved, very, very actively involved in social causes, which is, women empowerment. We are also conducting shows for people with disabilities.
Mhm.
So, because those are spaces, and it doesn't have to be restricted with one particular cause. I don't believe it that I'm going to be a champion, torch bearer just for women empowerment, just for, people with blindness, people who, it can be multiple causes.
Right.
wherever, at whichever point, my heart, I get that call, or my heart reaches out to a particular cause. It could be in a month, it could be in several years. I would continue to personally and through Indrani Mukherjee Enterprise support causes that, I would say would inspire others, would touch the lives of other people.
Mhm.
And I think that is something I would say should be a big takeaway, that despite my own problems that I have faced, I have not only been able to a large degree, come out of my own problems, I have been able to lend a supporting hand or lend a shoulder to whoever needed my
Sure.
shoulder.
Sure.
That is, I think, a big takeaway.
Mhm. So from emergence to for emergence, rather than looking at escape, looking at yourself as being able to empower others.
Yes.
It's the true story of resilience that you represent.
Thank you.
With that, I want to move into a different segment of this program, something that we call as a rapid fire.
Oops.
It's a bunch of questions, whatever is the first thing that comes into your head. This is not to coffee with Karan, so we don't have to worry about bloopers or revealing anything.
Where is my gift hamper?
There is a hamper, it will come.
Okay.
It won't be as fancy as Karan Johar's, but there will be a hamper.
Well, I'll settle for it.
So, truth or survival, what do you think is harder?
Truth, because truth requires courage and raw emotions to be revealed,
Mhm.
whereas survival can be done in hiding.
Sure. Theater or boardroom, where do you feel more powerful?
Theatre, because I am being able to reveal my true self and again my raw emotions. Boardroom is more controlled.
So, boardroom is
And-
more theatrical versus the theater itself.
Well, there is, I would say, more political drama in boardrooms. Whereas here, this is real drama where kind of you enact, whilst you're playing a character, you're enacting and revealing your true emotions.
Right.
Whilst you're enacting a role, a character, you're revealing your true emotions.
Right. One book that changed how you look at life.
I think stories of Rabindranath Tagore. I really, really am inspired because in an age and era where, still sati existed and parda existed, I think he had the courage to empower women. And for me, I really resonate with that philosophy.
Sure. If you could tell your younger self one thing, what would that be?
Don't run after validation.
Don't run after
External validation.
external validation, of course. Internal fulfillment, of course. That
of
has to be the theme.
Of course.
Define Indrani Mukherjee in one word for today.
Emergent.
Emergent. And emergent. Truly, guys, the story of true resilience, being at the top of the world, mired in all sorts of controversies, coming back, and now she's doing everything. She's putting herself out there, she's participating and performing in shows, she's authoring books, she's part of documentaries, she's creating her own production company, and she's talking about a lot more to come. So yeah, truly the story of emergence. I guess that would be something that we will see in the next few years.
Yes, I hope so, with support of friends like you and really genuine wishes. I think Indrani Mukherjee Enterprise will grow, and Indrani Mukherjee as a person will evolve.
So there is a lot more that I want to ask you, but I guess a lot of that it would
For
need
the next show.
Right. Well, it would need the camera to be shut off. That we will, of course, continue to have our conversations on a regular basis. But, truly, it's been, as I said earlier, it's a true special episode for me personally, having you on the show.
Kapil.
So thank you so much
Same here,
for coming
same here.
for the program. And thank you so much, everyone, to watch Truth Shots with Kapil. Of course, you will see this episode, you will see a lot more, and we will have Indrani back in some time when we have more stuff to talk about. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kapil. Thank you, Team Kapil.
Thank you.